Hi everyone, meteorologist Robert Spetta here with you. We're heading into the 30th of November, 2019. Typhoon Kammuri, or as it's known in the Philippines, Tisoy, is located just towards the east of Luzon, towards the north of Yap, and I have good news out here today. This storm system is not looking really pretty at all. We have plenty of shear continuing to interact with it from the north here, and that's why overall it just looks exceptionally disorganized. That shear coming in, pushing this off here. We still have a little bit of moisture flow from the south and plenty of convection in the center of circulation. So I do anticipate this to remain at typhoon intensity. Tracks towards the west here. And once it starts to get kind of released from that upper level trough causing all that shear, I do expect it to kind of get a little bit more organized, a little bit more of that cyclonic features with it, and upgrading up to about 90 to 110 knots. But the good news, JTWC has backed off from that super typhoon intensity. So right now they're not expecting that to take place. It's not out of the realm of possibility, but just given its current status, action with that shear towards the north, it would have a lot to overcome to experience that rapid intensification. In fact, there is a little bit of dry air wrapping in ahead of this too, which is good news. This is all associated with the northeast monsoon. You got that cold surge coming in. This is actually the total precipitable water in the atmosphere. And what this is showing you is that plenty of that moisture coming in from the backside, but this is that upper level trough that's been trying to hook this towards the north and east. Thankfully, that did come through and it didn't just steam towards the west in a high on type situation. This is kind of really just gave it a 1-2 punch and weakened this before it starts to drift off here towards the west. But with that surge coming in, it is going to continue on that westerly track. So let's take a look at some of the numerical guidance. The latest from the HWRF, the Hurricane High Resolution HWRF model. And what we're seeing here is basically it takes it onshore, actually a little bit further north than what most of the numerical models do show, but it also really intensifies this up to about 930 to 940 hectopascals. I think that's more on the aggressive side of things, because if we change this over to what the GFS is showing for that same time frame, let's rewind it, you're right around 940 to 945, and it takes it onshore closer towards the Bicol region, just north of Legazpi. I think that's more of a likely scenario. Bad news is you would still have that storm surge wrapping in ahead of this. A lot of these bays and inlets here would be experiencing at least a decent storm surge, especially in those poorer neighborhoods usually that live right along the immediate coastline. That's what we're talking about. This threat of significant flooding and significant damage as well. Even if this isn't a super typhoon, still could produce those type of impacts. Another big issue with this is just take a look at this. So we have southern Luzon right in here, right? Watch where this tracks right across there and then over towards Manila as well. Big issue with this, if this was in northern Luzon, I would say, you know what, it's not too much of a big impact. But here in the Philippines, no, is really one of the more denser areas of the country, and it's exactly where this storm's going to be going, running right over there. Not to mention a lot of foreigners and tourists are coming in for the Southeast Asian Games going on as well. These are games that qualify you to get into the Olympics. So, you know, there's a lot of things happening here. A very high populated area as well. My point is, even if this does not become a super typhoon, the impact event from this still could be rather high. But like I said before, I think the storm surge from Cameron over towards Date really going to be pretty impactful. Those winds continuing to wrap around, especially this bay right here. If you get a good surge coming in there, that's going to be pretty rough. And then eventually, as this does track there towards the east from Monday night into Tuesday, you get that surge wrapping around along the eastern seaboard here. And eventually, you could even get a northwesterly surge as we go ahead into Tuesday afternoon across Manila Bay here as well. It really just depends on exactly where the wind direction comes from. The numerical guidance, really, Monday into Tuesday is going to be rough across all of southern Luzon. This is actually something I pointed out yesterday. This is a fantastic product from Typhoon2000.ph. This is not numerical models, by the way. This is the center line from Hong Kong, the HKO, JTWC, JMA, Beijing, Taiwan's Bureau, Korea, Philippines. That's actually something I do want to point out. For those of you who might be watching this from overseas, especially the Atlantic, you really have one forecasting agency, the National Hurricane Center. In the Pacific, there's like 15. I'll actually put a link to a video I did all on this, explaining who the official agency is and why there are so many different agencies. But in all of my years of doing this, 5 days out, having such consensus between all of the agencies exactly where this was going to go is pretty rare. My point is, for those ahead of this, the confidence is high of where this is going to go. Don't wait for those signal force warnings to be put in place to evacuate, because you're not only going to get impacted by these winds gusting over 100 knots, heavy rainfall as well. In fact, this is indicating in the heavier areas, max on this map, about 680 millimeters, according to the GFS model. I mean, that's just some flooding rains across southern Luzon into the Baikal region, as well as landslides as well. And even over towards the Manila area, I know you need the rain. A significant drought has been in place for some time, so it's fantastic news. Too much in a short period of time, though, really could cause some major issues. But once again, really the biggest impact is going to be Baikal. Southern Luzon, even if this does not come on shore as a super typhoon, a lot of these low-lying areas, more rural areas, really could be impacted by damaging winds and storm surge. And then eventually over towards the Manila area as well. I mean, this is just going to track right over that high population area. So yeah, prepare now. Hey guys, all weekend I'm going to keep you posted on what I am expecting with this. So if you have any questions, comments, please post them down in the comment box below. As always, though, stay safe out there. And of course, thanks for watching. Thanks for sharing these videos. I continue to do them because people say they are so useful. I don't get paid for it. I just like to geek out on these weather updates. So yeah, just with that said, let me know what you think and stay safe out there.